Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to Game 2 in this two-game set between HGT and CDEC. CDEC took Game 1, they took it convincingly, and they did it on the back of the XH Bat Rider. HGT, I think, very correctly identify that they just can't deal with the Bat. They couldn't shut him down in lane. I have to say the Ember Spirit of Air, very underwhelming, didn't leave the lane. There were several opportunities to gank. ZSMJ normally the one who's played it at least the last few times I've watched HGT, and I'm not sure if maybe they should have considered switching the roles or what, but honestly I felt like their draft was not bad by any means, but they just didn't react well to the Bat Rider ganks and to a lesser extent against the Void Skywrath. So with that all said, they go ahead, ban out the Bat. CDEC going to go for the first pick, Brew, and then HGT, well, great, we'll Skywrath Void you this time around, that's the plan. But CDEC get what could be the combo breaker now. They have the silencer, so you see a Void, time walk in, quick chrono. If the Skywrath hasn't already dumped the Mystic Flare, you just global and could potentially interrupt that chain of initiation. So the tables now turn a bit. HGT trying to give CDEC a taste of their own medicine. The Shadow Fiend will be banned out. So something that certainly HGT can run. It's got decent synergy with the Void. I wouldn't say overwhelmingly good synergy, but decent. Shadow Fiend here that really wants to mine his positioning, and the Void is an okay frontliner for him. Does need quite a bit of farm early to be confident about making those jumps. For some reason, this is just not working. What is going on here? Alright, well, guess we're not going to have any local recordings, so we'll have to do these from the VOD. Sorry, just a little technical issue, guys. But HGT, ban out the Sand King. Can be a nice counter-initiator versus Void. He chronos, you Epi Blink into the chrono, and just look to punish him for that, as Lion will next be banned. So two big initiators. And now that makes a lot of sense. You want to pick up a Queen of Pain, you do not want the Blink Hex, the Blink Impale, or the Blink Burrow to worry about. So there is still a global. Brewmaster not really the best at shutting down a Queen of Pain, and on paper this Queen of Pain pick should be able to lane well against Brew, especially if Skywrath rotates in and puts out some harass early. But I will say the last few times I saw this matchup, it ended up going terribly for the Queen of Pain.
10 seconds remaining.
Hopefully, the story here will be changed by what I imagine will be ZSMJ. Rubik now picked up by CDEC. A good this hero, I don't think we see enough of him, honestly, in the Chinese scene. He is a go-to staple support in CIS Dota, and last patch I was a little skeptical. Rubik got some slight buffs to his Fade Bolt and a big buff to the Aghanim Scepter, cutting the cooldown for that spell steal in half. If he gets the eggs. By the time Rubik gets eggs, generally it feels like the game is over, if he does, but it's still a fun little item to pick up, and there's some good Aghanim's ultimates to steal. Your Queen of Pain ult's fantastic, obviously. The Void Skywrath, quite nice as well. So it's a good Rubik game. Chrono's good to steal. Mystic Flare's pretty good. I like that. Blink Queen of Pain is also nice to steal. Rubik generally excels against those Blink heroes. The Time Walk can be nice as well, so I like this as a Rubik game, but they are a bit light on damage for CDEC. You go for a Silencer Rubik, you've got a lot of control, very little damage, and I wonder, is there any chance this is a core Silencer? I would expect a support, but Ag's Refresher could be potent this game. HGT have some natural BKB carriers, so support Silencer, a bit less effective against natural BKB in general. HGT now going for the fourth pick. They've got two of their cores. It could be a safe lane Void, it could be an off laner, but they'll need another
Witch Doctor,
another support and another core. So they go for the Witch Doctor. Has good synergy with the Void. Pretty good against CDEC's draft. Generally where Witch Doctor picks struggle is either against mass ways to cancel ward, which they kind of have. Brew Split, Cyclone, as well as Boulder Toss, and the Global plus the Lift, but he's just not going to be a priority target this game. The thing is, you will be very focused on the Queen of Pain and the Void, and That Witch Doctor can really
10
sit back and
seconds
just wait
remaining.
for his opportunities. But another good spell to steal with that Death Ward in theory, so
5 seconds
something for
remaining.
HGT. They'll have to be disciplined against this Rubik pick. We'll see who
Reserve
ends up
time.
playing it for them. I imagine it'll be Guard or... Fourth pick. CDEC. They've got, I think this they have their support, so looking for some cores here. The Brewmaster going to go mid. Any safe laners that match up particularly well against HGT. It's a pretty good Doom game, I would say. Doom works really well with Silencers. Actually, you know what would be good is Storm Doom, potentially. Global. The Doom can go to the offlane. They can run the Storm and the safe, and with these supports, they should be able to zone of offlane Void pretty well. Silencer pretty good at that in general. Yeah, that could be good. Maybe not both. Maybe you could get like just the Doom or just the Storm, but that old Empire strat, the global into Zip, global into Blink Doom. What else can they do? Could go for more of a... Oh, they'll go for the Medusa. Kind of your counter to the Void. Most of the time when Voids try to jump Medusa, what happens is she just stone gazes and the team can't go on her anymore. Also, HGT already have picked their 2 supports as well as 2 of their cores, so they have no mana burn as of yet.
Remaining.
In theory, they could go back for like a Nyx or an Invoker.
5 seconds
Maybe they run the offlane Void and snag an Invoker for the safe lane, but outside of that, you're low on mana burn. The thing, though, is there is still Mystic Flare, as well as Queen of Pain, with a lot of pure damage coming out from that ultimate, so they may be able to blow up Medusa quickly, even if the Void can't hit her during the Chronosphere. The Invoker banned by HGT, yeah. I think,
team ban.
actually, okay, HGT ban, yeah, huh. I was going to say for CDEC that's a good ban, but a little surprised to see HGT. Let's see. Invoker. Is he particularly good against anything HGT have? I wonder why they ban it here.
10 seconds remaining.
Nyx removed by CDEC. So they removed one of the other mana burn heroes. Like, great, you ban Invoker, and now we ban Nyx. Now you have no mana burn. Void can go for that Manta Diffusal build. I seen Funnick do it once against Medusa. It was actually pretty effective. Maybe something he considers, depending on how the game goes. The Medusa could end up being very poor and not really get too much done. You do have a very aggressive draft here in the mid-game, HGT. Mobile cores, and they go for another one now with the Slark. Now this I like a lot. CDEC have very little lockdown from. They've got 1 pick to go. H Apparition is out there, Doom is out there, but unless we're seeing a core silencer, which I highly doubt given the draft, well, I don't know. This is, even if you get the Doom, you still have to farm an Ags before you really shut down Slark, and Ancient Apparition has no synergy with this draft, really. They have no setup for the Ice Blast. They have nobody to go around and make things happen, so I actually worry a lot for CDEC. I think this is a very good Slark game.
Remaining.
Global can own him, but
Reserve
you need to
time.
like Global, Blink Clap, Lift, and then maybe you kill him. If they can get off, if they can get the Rubik and Brew on top of him. And yet again, we're going to see a Windranger pick versus a Void. This was something Team Fire turned to in the America qualifier quite a bit for TC. The Shackle Shot, obviously good against Void and Chrono. He jumps in. You manage to latch him to a hero outside of the Chrono or some sort of unit nearby, and then the Chrono's wasted entirely. Also, with Windrun, you Chrono this Windranger, and the evasion will make her invulnerable against that Void for quite some time. They don't have a natural Hex on HGT. They do have someone who could build one as far as air goes, but well, with that said, folks, we're going to get underway. Here we go. It's not quite the hero distributions I was expecting. I thought we might see ZSMJ on the Faceless Void, but it's actually Icy going to be played. And with that, we'll introduce the teams. HGT now sitting at 8-3. CDEC improving their own record to 16-5. Every team in this qualifier playing in a whopping enormous 30 games each. That's right. 16 teams, they all play each other twice. So lots of opportunities. No excuses if you fall short. You've had a ton of games to work with. ZSMJ on your Slark. Icy, going to be playing the Void. Air, handling the Queen of Pain. And on the support roles, we've got Kaka, is the Witch Doctor, Pretty Haw, the Skywrath. A
30
10-man
seconds.
clash brewing at this top rune. Q on the Silencer. CDEC looking good in game 1. Maybe your Medusa, Garter, the Rubik, Mikasa, the Wind Ranger. And that leaves XH, the MVP for me of that game 1, on the brew. You can see right now, Icy. Not spotted out. And now he'll show his pretty little head. There's a brew waiting here, and both teams gonna retreat out. So they end up rotating ZSMJ down towards the bottom side of the map. They're gonna run the Queen of Pain mid. So the interesting thing is they were thinking about running the Void safe lane and the Slark off, but now they're gonna swap. Were they maybe they were expecting CDEC to go aggressive. I think they want to secure the Slark's farm early and don't want him to be stuck laning against a triple range tri-lane, which is not really Slark's happy time. So a good adjustment to the lanes here, recognizing there is no aggressive tri-lane incoming. They're actually going to run the Medusa defensive tri-lane bottom, and Wind Ranger will be the mid. So they run the brew off. We haven't seen a ton of brew off lanes. ZSMJ here. He's got the Essence Shift early, and he'll start laying in to XH. Oh boy, that really hurts. Fortunately, at the early levels, Essence Shift does not last particularly long. You only get it for 15 seconds, so not something you can really use to shut down a Brewmaster for like a solid minute or two. But it'll be a nuisance. And this is not going to be a fun lane. Brew up against the Skywrath. Already that's not good. CSMJ as a Slark. Nice hero to kind of lock him in place while you pound into him. And at the same time, your Void also not going to have fun bottom. He gets lifted. He's cursed. He's going to have to time walk out of this. Icy, you don't have a choice, my friend. Yeah, you're going to need to use that. Q chasing him, though. No glaives yet. Only level 1, but I guess comparing the two offlanes, he's getting the worst of it, though. XH will take his final tango. Your Void still has 2 tangos, so it's about even. Both heroes just getting wrecked in the offlane. Slightly worse for XH, but not good for either. Looking at farm so far, early on, Mikasa off to a hot start here mid. He is making up for a Shadow Fiend game last time. Was getting wrecked by the Viper, but sits at 5 and 6, now 6 and 6 already. Air is getting thoroughly outskilled in this lane as Brewmaster waits for his bounty run. He turns to fight. He's like, oh crap, they're actually chasing me. I better run the hell away. They've taken that early point in Maldic. Now they even stun him and they get in front. He turns to fight. This looks to be the first blood. Surrounded and done. Dealt with. Offlane Brew, not off to a potent start as a power shot searches for Pretty Haw. Of course, that range on the spell now ridiculously good. Just to give you a sense of it. That is the range of power shot now. Yep. Not kidding either. That's pretty crazy. Definitely a fun spell. Gives you that skill shot opportunity, you know. Something Dota has a bit of, but we haven't seen as much recently. With the Mirana picks no longer in vogue, the sniper plays are not the go-to. But I really worry for CDEC here. Running the Brewmaster offlane, giving up a first blood on that hero. He's got 1 CS. He's out of regen. He has managed to pick up his boots at the very least, but this is not a comeback hero, really, the Brewmaster. You get shut down early up against a Void Skywrath Mage, you will continue to feed. They may have to make a lane adjustment, but the issue is, what do? I guess you could put Mikasa top lane, or you could just roam your Brew and kind of sack him. Compared to last game, he was a Bat Rider. You can catch up on the jungle on that hero. He's a little bit more difficult to kill in the offlane, and well, CDEC gonna have a liability on their hands if he can't turn this thing around soon. Mikasa continues to impress, though. The old newbie coach, showing that he's still got some ability. He was actually... I feel like they played better when he was standing in. Maybe just because they took it seriously when coach was around, but when he would stand in for them. But he's doing work here so far mid. So, safe lane farmers trading evenly. Your Slark and Medusa just about even, and look at that matchup. Slark can be good against Medusa later on. Like he's a very mobile carry, and Essence Shift really works nicely against the Mana Shield. You just keep on stealing the intelligence, reducing her mana pool, and making her a lot easier to deal with. Plus, Medusas tend to build very stat heavy, and Slark excels against those types of heroes. Morphling being another good example of a matchup that, if the game goes longer, Slark really has a nice time. And eventually you get to that point, you know, you get your Scotty, Abyssal Blade, and treads, a couple more right-click items, butterfly perhaps, and you just wait out the Medusa Stone Gaze and go to work on her when it's down. But that's all looking much farther ahead. For now, maybe up to 1800 gold. It looks like he may save for an early Midas here. Is that the choice for maybe? Is that the right choice for maybe? I imagine our Slark will go for something similar. The SMJ up to 1600 gold. Not opting to spend it yet, and it looks like it is a Midas. Yeah, Midas inbound. Mikasa with his boots coming. Mid lane does start to even out, though. Air after that awful start the first few waves. He's caught up nicely. 17 and 10 to the 18 and 13 Wind Ranger. Not a big discrepancy, but I continue to just have no idea what the Brewmaster's job this game is going to be. Now he's just sitting mid, leeching experience off of your Wind Ranger. He did stack the Ancients, but I guess it's something Dusa can go back to farm. It'll still be a while, and it doesn't really address the question of where the Brewmaster's going to get his farm. No jungle stacks. He's not high enough level to farm them anyway. Only level 3. I really think what they're going to have to do is just adjust the lanes. At some point, this brew is going to either have to be given mid or safe lane, and they're going to have to put someone else elsewhere. Mid lane to blink in. Quick solo kill by Air. Oh, that ultimate doing the work. Although the trade might come. Well, this is one way to get your brew back in the game. Sacrifice your Wind Ranger. I'm not sure if that's exactly how Mikasa saw it developing, but perhaps the wily coach is thinking several moves ahead. So it'll be double Midas carries here. Maybe, as well as the SMJ, both collecting these. Going for an early gold heavy build. I see old time walk out. Retreating from that annoying nuke by the silencer, and the push will come. Oh, they are swinging around though. Onto Icy, they go. Garter's got the lift. Icy, no time walk. Actually, Garter gonna back the hell away. He gets a little nervous. Some cold feet. Run, Rubik. He looks so cute.
Is under attack.
Look at his head bobbing.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
That's so funny. Alright, now he's chilling. TPs are coming in though. They're bringing in their Brewmaster. Level 5. He gets 2 levels off that kill mid lane. Oh, the importance can't be overstated. I almost feel like that's worth it, even though the Wind Ranger ends up going down, but gets the kill here top. So now she's feeling a bit sweeter about her life, and on the back of that, it is a big rotation. They bring 3 heroes top lane just to defend, and the Slark not dying. So ZSMJ will still continue to farm. Your Queen of Pain still doing well and happily chilling mid. Let's see. Ancient still just stacked the single time. There's also some stacks here in the Dire jungle, and kind of reminds me of how the teams were playing around the Razor Death Prophet mids for a while, and I think it was, what, 6.82? Was that the patch? Numbers are hard. But yeah, the Death Prophet Razor patch, either way. Or was that 6.81? I think that was 6.81. Anyway, yeah, just teams began to develop a real focus on stacking the woods for heroes that are not traditionally known as good stack clearers. Like Shadow Fiend, that's an old classic, but outside of that, you generally would see stacks put out for like Battle Fury Anti-Mages, Svens, lineups that have a Magnus as a mid or utility hero, and well, it became more in vogue to do it for just these AoE spammers mid lane. And the nice thing is, it really helps accelerate the farm. So something Queen of Pain can go to. Slark can also clear those stacks if he wants. And now ZSMJ is max Dark Pack, so that may be the plan here. He'll rotate into the jungle. He may have slight mana issues, but for now, Icy waits bottom lane. Mystic Flare not online yet. Actually, very low level. Your Witch Doctor also not even close. Chronosphere's ready. They'll drop it now. They bring in 2. Your Witch Doctor cast could be beautiful. Queen of Pain ult over the top. Kaka takes a bit too long, though. The setup was not right. Garter, they chase and they blink in. Nuking him down. He's low. One more auto tech, and he may tick down. Deny me, he says. Deny me? No. No, is he going to die? Garter ends up living. Barely. The base regen might just be enough to live through this. Oh, so close. While that was happening, Witch Doctor ended up going down. I just got fixated on that Witch Doctor's HP bar. It's not the highest level Shadow Strike, only level 1.
Dire's bottom tower
So a waste opportunity. Chrono now down, Queen of Pain ulti now down, CDEC finding a kind of a gifted opening here. This is where ZSMJ is wondering what he's going to be doing. Can he really find an opening? He'll try. Smoked up. Brewmaster off in the top lane. Still playing catch-up, taking some me time. And the smoke will break high ground momentarily. They're going to reveal themselves now, dropping Observer Ward Q. Could be spotted. I don't think he got vision. They dropped that ward around the tree line, and he's just going to waltz his way towards mid, though. Seems to have skirted the gank for now. But they find a stack, and they will happily clean it up. And this is big for HGT. Being able to take away some stacks from this Medusa will limit the ability of the Medusa to snowball out of control. The stack's still not yet cleared up. They're waiting for ZSMJ to heal up a bit. Taking over the Medusa's jungle. Big emphasis on economic damage. The trap may be sprung though. Kaka on the way out. Garter has his lift. Kaka gonna charge in. Gets off the casket. Does manage to bounce the Q and then back here and there. ZSMJ will end up escaping. Your Witch Doctor not so lucky. He'll be brought down in the end. Slowly whittles away at this catapult, though. Power shotting the wave now. Air. Nuking him. Blow's being traded, but the Wind Ranger seems to be coming on top. Now with the Buckler phase boots, you are not going to trade effectively as far as auto attacks go. Definitely will win those right-click wars, and that's even before factoring in the win run. But now for CDEC, the objective number one is get your Brewmaster Blink, and they'll work towards that with XH. The entire team here, they also want level 6 on Rubik. He's about to get it, and Silencer. He's a bit farther off.
Denied.
A lot of heroes very delayed in their item progression in this game. Icy, a long way off from Mass Command, is just now completing the treads. Mikasa is closing on Mech. The offlane Brewmaster, the counterpoint to the Void, is about to get his blink. It's not that bad, honestly, for an offlane Brew. This is, considering the start XH had, even giving up first blood, just camping mid. He's done a nice job of coming back. And again, I go back to that Queen of Pain for Wind Ranger trade there. That I honestly think that ends up favoring CDEC, just because the Brew was going to be useless otherwise. Zera will find a double damage room. Blink now stolen. There's no mana for it, though. Void comes in. Witch Doctor, oh my kingdom! For a look at it go, but he doesn't have it. Queen of Pain ulti flies out. Mikasa will be done for a double. For Air looking for more. They will chase out. They end up getting the Silencer as well in the midst of that. The Rubik run down on the backside. The Scarith Mage able to finish him off. Oh, and the Courier. Oh, God. And that had a point booster. Oh, wrong Courier. Point booster and wards. This Radiant team right now. No wards up. No wards available. So they're 3 minutes playing in the dark against the Slark. Not where you want to be. The map becomes a scary place, and to make matters worse, it's nighttime, folks. You see this Radiant Vision? Yeah, that's not good. That is not reassuring. They just have this one Observer Ward bottom, and it's about to expire. It will right now. CDEC, the lights go off.
I'll take that.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's structures are fortified.
Mikasa laying into the tier 1 mid. Kaka does have his ultimate, but they don't have that Chronosphere, as SMJ thinking about it tonight. Shackle will come through. Just a nice defensive Dark Pact here. Good rule of thumb. You see some longer duration lockdown in the area, the neighborhood, like a Shackle, just Dark Pact as you walk through, just to make sure, even if it hits, that you'll be okay. Safety first. So Garter will grab his Arcane Boots, and they may just try for a smoke gank. Not having wards, it's very dangerous to get off on the map. They have the Brew Blink. They're going to show the Medusa top lane and smoke the other way. CDEC, you got to leave someone visible if you want to go for this play. And the top lane, the least likely to get ganked, I think. So, safe movement. The arrow's being drawn. Well, Witch Doctor, what's he trying to say here? He's saying they're mid or bottom. That's a good call. Well, it's mid. Air, about to get caught out. If they get the lift, Air's done for. Lift, drop back down. They nuke him with the Silencer, and the Shackle Shot gonna fall. Oh, they did not actually Oh, they don't have global yet. I thought they did. Silencer still not level 6. Oh, actually going to live. ZSMJ on the retreat out. Brewmaster split expended as well. I thought they had the global. Q is still level 5 at 15 minutes. That is a costly fail. Smoke gank, 4 hero commitment, and the brew split, and they get nothing. Absolutely nothing. But ZSMJ might get trapped out here. Uh-oh, he's got to know something's up, because he's not regenning right now from the Shadow Dance. He winds his way through the trees. Garter's still on the chase. Dire team does not have sentries currently. Still only the 1 ancient stack. They've not really invested too much in getting a fat Medusa, so that's why the Slark is very close in terms of net worth. But mid lane, air could be lifted. They need that global to kill him, though, or a shackle to latch. Oh, they get the toss, so they're going to throw him into shackle range. That's... Oh, no, they kill the trees! Oh, the right idea. I think if Mikasa had just stood here, they toss him back, then he could have got that shackle to the creep. My diagram not perfect, but you get the idea. Unfortunately, it wasn't the case. That was a cool idea. It just didn't end up working out.
Radiant's bottom tower
And Longos, I think this Radiant Courier are going to respawn now. Yeah, it comes out meekly carrying the point booster. Sorry, guys. I'll try to do better next time. Poor donkey. And now the Shadow Blade picked up by ZSMJ. Looking at this game, Silencer, fairly easy solo kill. Rubik also can be an easy solo kill, depending on if he has any good stalled spells. I think he's still sitting on the blink right now. So right now, not the easiest time to go for him, but HGT will go for the trade here. They're going to let CDEC push in their top lane, and they look for the Roche instead. They're not even pushing quickly. CDEC have to know. They're just parking Medusa top lane. They don't see anything. Bottom lane's pushed in. This is a recipe for Roshan, but HGT will take the Aegis, and if they want, they might even try to defend top lane. They still have Glyph. They use it early. They stream towards mid. They may also just say, you know what, you can have our tier 1 top, we're going to go mid. We'll get under your tower, and then if you try to defend it, you will get jumped. And that's already the plan for ZSMJ. Shadow blading on through. He's going to look for a quick initiation here. Rubik could be an easy solo kill. Oh, and he even runs to the right. That's not a good place. Oh, he misses the leap, though. Oh, that hurts. If they get that Rubik kill, they may even just be able to push this tower. With the Aegis especially. Chrono online. That's a good time to go. But CSMJ, that old man starting to lose his vertical. Can't quite leap the right direction. Only old in Dota terms, though, guys. He's young in his heart. Young at heart. Down out. Down out. Down out. Down out. Down out. Double O ZSMJ on the move, but not finding any easy pickoffs here in the Radiant jungle. He continues to play aggressive Dota. You don't necessarily have to get kills with the Shadow Blade if you're keeping the enemy cores down, if you're keeping their supports back in the base, then it kind of pays for itself. Q will now drop a sentry to go with the ops here. They look to protect this Medusa stacks and secure her some additional farm. But that said, obviously you get the Shadow Blade, you ideally want to be finding a kill, at least on support hero there. Air will now snag an Orchid. Very good Orchid game. Up against the Brewmaster as well as the Silencer. You can just look to jump him and finish him off. They will jump onto Icy here. He's got Time Walk. He gets lifted. Global use. Nicely done. And now with the nuke from the Silencer, it should be enough. It is.
As promised.
Finally, that first global of the game. 19 minutes in before they get to pop that thing. And they did steal level 3 Time Walk. It's just been a very low impact game. Brewmaster ends up getting picked off at the side shop here. But yeah, it's just been a very low impact game for the Brewmaster Silencer. The first split didn't amount to much. Brewmaster kind of was fed a kill mid lane just because of the Queen of Pain diving the Wind Ranger, and not that potent start you're accustomed to seeing from the hero. And if he doesn't get ahead early, then later on up against Chronosphere, Death Ward, and Slark, he's not going to offer you too much. Slark jumping in onto Garter, who time walks out quickly. Trying to retreat. They now nuke him with the Silencer, and they'll break some trees, and they'll just walk the hell away. This is looking a little tenuous right now for CDEC. They have a Medusa, but there's not a ton of synergy with the ultimate. Like, ideally, when you're on Medusa, you like to run heroes like Witch Doctor with her that offer you tons of physical damage to synergize with the Stone Gaze. Some other right-clicker can be nice. Death Prophet can be pretty good, potentially, although finding a lineup that works with those two is pretty difficult. But I'd say Witch Doctor one of the best. It's at least some heavier right-click. But yeah, there's... Or something to buff the Medusa up. Like, we saw Navi the other day, ran the Havos Medusa with Ogre backing it up, a Vengeful Spirit, and a Magnus. So they had Empower, Bloodlust, Venge Aura, Venge minus armor. Nothing close here. CSMJ will go. On to XH. They get the leap off, and now the silence comes out with the Mystic Flare. Quick kill. There was a Brewmaster split online, but couldn't use it, maybe. On the run, they have no cast. They'll try to engage, and now actually gets up the Chronosphere, but Shackle gonna latch onto Icy. ZSMJ getting worked on. Icy now in trouble, ends up going down. The Aegis popped. Witch Doctor ulti, he has stick charges, could go for it. Trying to wait here as the Slark will leap away towards freedom. Shackle, ooh, close one. And with that, I think we're done here. So in the end, a Brew for a Void, Medusa ult for a Chrono, and an Aegis down. So I guess you even... Oh, as well as a global use. I guess because the global gets used there, it's close to even, but losing the Aegis like that was about to expire anyway, so actually it doesn't really matter. Now they know the global's down. They'll have their Chronosphere up in a minute, and they'll have about just no window, basically. No real window to take. But the thing is, just looking at the drafts overall, you're running multiple cores here for HGT, and the Void, Slark, Queen of Pain, all of them getting farmed. I don't really know if the Medusa can handle them herself. Slark, as I mentioned earlier, I think matches up pretty well against Medusa in late game, just because he can just wait out the Stone Gaze and then turn, and good against these stat-based heroes, which Medusa certainly fits the bill. Void eventually gets to that point, although it's a much farther off, where he gets the BKB, refresher, damage item or two. And I think crucially, it's just such a poor Silencer. If Silencer had managed to secure a Midas, I mean, I'm talking about Midas's, he's got Tranquil Boots, but if it were a more farmed support Silencer, then he could potentially take over this game. Same for the Rubik. As I was talking about earlier, some really good spells to steal here. Mystic Flare, Chrono, Death Ward. But with the CDEC support shut down so heavily, I don't see this Medusa match up particularly well against the Tricore. And they're just going to begin to out-farm as well. Slark, you can see the Slark, the Queen of Pain. And oh, the other thing is, can Wind Ranger have a big impact is the question. Mikasa, thus far, 1 and 2. He was beating the Queen of Pain very early, but then gave up that solo kill, and ever since then has been quiet. Goes for a gem now. It's a utility-style Wind Ranger that we're seeing. D-ward a bit off there. For those joining us, this is game number 2. Both teams in good position. I think the top 2 teams, along with eHome, who's a more recent entrant to the Chinese scene, those probably looking like 3 top teams thus far in the qualifier. But the good news for all the other teams in the tournament is 6 of the teams of the 16 go to the event, and 4 of them qualify flat out. The other 2 go to the wild card. CSMJ farming up some enemy stacks right now. Hiding in the trees is Pretty Haw. But CDEC, you can see in general, just kind of forced to 4 or 5 man around the map because of what they're up against. Orchid, Queen of Pain, Mystic Flare, Chrono. You go off on your own, you're likely giving up kills. Unless you're Medusa.
Radiant's middle tower is
Medusa
under
should be
attack.
fine.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Well, the farm continues for maybe. He is your leader in net worth, 14k. Just hanging out mid, but it's coming at the cost of everyone on CDEC. The support's desperately far behind now. 2k difference between Rubik and Witch Doctor as the pings come onto the SMJ, and another 2.5k difference between the Scarith and the Silencer, and that explains a pretty big chunk here of the gold discrepancy, and it comes down, it looks like, to the Roshan as well as a couple of towers. They're going to start backing up the siege tank mid lane. CDEC providing a little artillery support. Will press onwards towards the tier 2 mid. Can they really fight though? They have the brew split. Only level 1 brew split. And no eggs. And nowhere in sight. Nor does he have any armor or Rs of any kind. I don't see them getting this one as a free tower, but HGT definitely don't want to go on Dusa. If they want to fight this, they're going to have to bring in a wraparound, or they're going to have to smoke, or they're just going to have to run past the Medusa looking for the backliners. You go on the Medusa, Sheik Stone Gazes, or the team just jumps you and things fall apart. SMJ on a little jaunt here through the woods. He's going to Dark Pact past an illusion. But I still like, in general, the way HGT are playing this. Just going for the split push, spreading the map a bit. XH taking some slight harassment here. There's a Queen of Pain Orchid, has the ulti, going to go for the big kill. Oh, that's not going to happen. Well, not sure about that one. Rubik now using the Time Walk. He stole something. Uh-oh. Managed to steal that Sonic Wave, but your Queen of Pain just going to BKB and TP on out of there. Nice spell steal though, and that's actually a level 3 Queen of Pain ultimate. Well, this could be big. 575 pure damage to layer over the top, and it's actually one of the things CDEC were lacking. You run Medusa, you like to have some more AoE or spread damage just to follow up that general plink, 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 slowly wearing a multiple heroes down style of carry, but didn't have much. With this stolen Sonic Wave, that begins to change.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
So they leave maybe out front. This tower beginning to drop very low. They're just looking for a deny right now. There is a glyph, and while that was happening, as shown earlier, HGT going to take the Aegis for the Slark. Now they're going to backstab. They engage. See SMJ walking in. He does get lifted at first. He's the Aegis carrier, though, so he's not overly worried about this. Gets off the... Oh, again with the missleep. And now, the silence. Now they chase onwards on the maybe. Leap coin down in just a few seconds. Chrono drop just to cover the path of retreat. His Q's going to walk into it. He already used Global, though. Stone Gaze was popped. Shackle shot's there. Beautifully placed. And with that Shackle, HGT going to have to run the hell away. CSMJ to the north. Kaka winding his way through the trees, but getting Cyclone. And with the Shackle shot coming out, that's going to be a sad Witch Doctor. Boulder tossed. Now slowed down and finished. 2 heroes dead at the same time. ZSMJ does go for the tower mid, but even that denied to him by Q. CDEC hanging on in this game. Still the gold lead. Extended to 10,000. Experience at about 15, and they also have the Aegis. It was a bigger gold swing than what that showed, though. As Queen of Pain also died, but was not reflected in that latest graph. SMJ has a Shadow Blade, as mentioned earlier, and he's going to Shadow Blade on past. Claps there. They actually get the Drunken Haze off. They're going to look to follow this one up. Of course, Mikasa, the gem carrier, able to give them that extra vision. SMJ retreats. He's now body blocked. He leaps to the low ground, though. They couldn't block him out fully. And Rubik will steal the Dark Pact. It seems the game plan for CDEC is clear. Just park the entire team behind maybe and slow siege. Now if you're HGT, you have 2 options. One is to split push and one is to try to engage. Engaging's difficult. Although currently Global is down for 30 seconds. Brewmaster split down for 45. going to Drunken Haze SMJ now. Their Dark packs it off, now retreating. And now they wind Garter through the trees. He's looking for that initiation. The stolen Dark pack still online. ZSMJ currently under the affliction of a nuke from the silencer. But they'll TP maybe out. So the siege is over, at least for now. Pretty even in terms of the amount of pressure each team is applying right now, though. HGT was super aggressive, but it seems CDEC has found a way to apply pressure in their own right. Just go behind the Medusa S5, let her sit in front, hide your team in the trees, make it very difficult for HGT to get any sort of clean initiate off, and force HGT to come defend. I think HGT could just be split pushing more and do it more aggressively, but as long as they try to take these tower defenses, they are going to struggle, especially without the Aegis and a few items not yet picked up here. Aghanim's very close for Kaka. CSMJ still looking for that second real beefy fighting item. Went for the Midas Shadow Blade, so only really has the Scotty as far as combat items go. But they're going to send air towards bottom, and ZSMJ in reserve. Pretty Hall with the quick ward placement here. Right as this first one expires. Vision for the Radiant, not the best. They don't really know much about what's going on. They see ZSMJ mid along with Icy, but at the same time everyone else retreats, and scurrying down the middle lane, slithering will be maybe. But CDEC really forced to play this 4 Protect 1 Dota. Just 4 heroes, literally protecting themselves by sitting at the tier 2. As you can see, they managed to deward that hill. If you're just joining us, guys, I'll be casting next Invasion versus eHome. So after this game number 2, we've got one more before it's all said and done. We're burning the late night oil. It now hits 5 a.m. here on the West Coast, and in China it's nice and spicy 8 p.m., I believe. Or maybe it's actually 9 p.m. now. Is it 9 p.m.? I think it is. It's getting later. That's for sure.
Dire's bottom tower
Yeah,
is under
you can
attack.
see the Tricore starting to pull ahead. Slark up only a couple thousand behind the Medusa. The Queen of Pain Void
Dire's
well
bottom
ahead of
tower
their
has
counterparts in
fallen.
the Wind Ranger as well as Brew, and that's how HGT should look to play this.
Double
You go late
damage.
enough up against the Medusa, you'll have a Hex on air. You'll have a Void with a BKB Refresher and a damage item. You'll have a Slark, probably with an Abyssal Blade. If not as his next item, then one after this. And you just have to bait out the Stone Gaze and then take the fight. BKBs will be important, though, and I like this choice of the BKB on all 3 cores. You're up against Global. Silencer is unlikely to have a Refresher until ultra late game, so BKB ensures that you don't ever get Globaled, and you can just hold it defensively. These heroes all fairly tanky. Chrono top lane, though, caught out Mikasa, as well as XH. They lay in the Queen of Pain ultimate and go to work. XH blown up, 2 heroes taken out, Global also blown, as Icy is chased out, looking for the Stone Gaze. Icy turning away, though. And now, your stolen Chrono drop, but that's not how that works. Not sure if Garter thought that was going to hold the Void in place, but that is not the case. Well, the stolen Chrono now on cooldown for quite a while. That used to be... That was one of the reasons why Void used to be really shit, actually, was because Rubik was very popular for a while, dating back to TI2, TI3. Then it used to actually be a popular solo mid, because Fade Bolt had a longer bounce range. I believe it did a bit more damage, and Rubik had better move speed as well. There's a couple... Maybe there's 1 or 2 other changes, but those were the big ones. So what would happen is teams would pick Void, and then the enemy Rubik would just Chrono the Void, and he would just sit there and die. And it's very hard to protect your Chrono, as we've seen a lot, because generally you time walk to initiate, then you Chrono. There's no way to stop the spell steal. But Garter, not, I guess, realizing it works that way, or just not really giving a shit. CDEC continue their 5-man shenanigans, and Again, HGT just playing this one well. They may end up losing Icy here. Power shot. Oh, he's got his BKB TP out. So I'll need to go for this now, and there's nothing they can do against the BKB TP. That's the big reason why I think HGT can just split push this so hard. You BKB TP unless they get like a basher on the brew. Or you match the Stone Gaze very early. That's just not happening. You do have to be careful if you're HGT, though. Medusa is one of those deceptive carries where she doesn't do a huge chunk of burst all of a sudden. She doesn't have the flashiest ultimate and generally doesn't use it right away in the fights, and she doesn't really move much. But if you hang around in her orbit, her universe, for a bit too long, everyone starts to drop, then all of a sudden the supports are dead. Then your cores try to run, maybe get shackled or globaled and lifted. And then you die on the cores as well, but HGT have ample time against this Medusa. When they see a fight brewing, they can just retreat out. They don't ever even have to take the fights to begin with. Split push is a very viable option, so they continue to play this one and pull away with their tricord. Medusa just getting farther and farther ahead of her own team. Still Wind Ranger at 9k net worth. It's going to build towards a Hex. That's a good item this game for sure. But it's unfortunate how little CDEC can do. I mean, had they gone for like the Storm Doom type of draft I mentioned, not sure how the lanes would have worked, but at this stage of the game, like, you have those heroes and HGT can't be split pushing. Anyone's off split pushing, you can just jump in with Storm, they BKB or whatever, you global, and you just look to finish them off. Same for the Doombringer, so. The draft that they've gone for more about the 5-manning, and HGT able to kind of dodge away from that. As soon as you go top, it's whack-a-mole. Air's going to go bottom. Hex now picked up, and he should be able to take this tower. But CDEC, I wonder if they just have enough and just say, you know what, let's go for high ground. Roshan could be respawning soon. Your Scout just hiding in the pit.
Bottom tower has fallen.
Pretty hot chilling.
Dire's top tower is under attack. Dire's top tower has fallen. Radiant's bottom tower.
Split push continues. Air and Icy moving on towards the bottom lane. They're actually going to time lock the Void in. With Mask of Madness, he goes to work on the tower. Now, I'm not sure he's going to hit as hard as this Medusa. Maybe. Waiting out the cast. Mid lane also being split pushed by ZSMJ. And the TP backs come. They'll back down from the brink as soon as the Medusa leaves. Pushes over. But the Tricore continues to pull farther and farther ahead. Now up to 20k. 25k experience lead. And Roshan's going to respawn soon. And with that, CDEC need to book it to the pit. This is close to a max Roshan respawn, so they should pretty much know it's up. They actually time walk in just a second or two early. Oh, that's some pretty Haws. Now going to wait it out, and Roshan's respawn. Unfortunately, CDEC have gotten time to get over here. They're leaving their Void up on the high ground. They have the Witch Doctor Ags. Big pickup for this upcoming fight. CDEC have to be careful. MKB now acquired by your Slark, a good item to bring down maybe.
New treasures.
And into the pet, CDEC will go. They smoke on in. They're leaving in reserve Mikasa as well as Garter. Roshan claps though, and maybe he's going to walk right out. Radiant Courier now on a dangerous mission. Oh my, buys the Hyperstone. Nope, that ain't going to happen. Plinked down with ease. That's the Mjolnir of maybe that is delayed by quite a bit. I'm actually pretty surprised he tried to send that side shot. It's nearly a max Roshan respawn, so you know that they're going to expect Rosh to be up. So they're likely to be in the neighborhood. He takes the risk and it doesn't end up panning off. Panning out, I should say. Well, with the split push going HGT's way, it's going to be very tough to prevent a Roshan by CDEC. The thing is, they're just very immobile, right? They're a clunky lineup by nature. Nobody's particularly good at scouting Rosh except for Wind Ranger. And they have to basically 5-man. The Rubik, the Silencer cannot be off on their own. They basically have no items. Still no Blink on Garter, though he's very close. And so all you have to do is just split push the top lane, keep the mid and bottom out to a decent degree, and as soon as CDEC shows somebody top, you just go to the pit. They play it well, strategically, using the nature of their lineup to their advantage. They get an Aegis now on Cheese. And they close in on that point in the game where the only way that Medusa is going to be able to carry a fight is if HGT just decide to tank too many nukes. Or too many auto attacks. Not nukes.
Let it go.
We look at it go, indeed. Witch Doctor's always very proud of himself. Look at me, man. Look at me. Such an attention mongerer. I actually love that word, mongerer. It's one of my favorites. It keeps me happy. Yeah, this is pretty much just going to continue to play out with HGT split pushing. CDEC kind of forced to sit back. The thing is, if they try to go for some sort of a smoke play, which generally in this situation is your main option, they have to go so deep, and it's so difficult to get a kill. Let's say you smoke and you do find the Slark. You lift him, you then have to shackle him to a tree. Otherwise, he BKBs or just ults and runs away. Same for the Void. If you don't insta-grab him, he gets off the BKB, chronos, or just runs away. And pretty much the same for Queen of Pain. BKB, blink away. And they don't have really a reliable follow-up. They go for that lift, and if they don't get a shackle, there's no lockdown. There's literally nothing. So it becomes very difficult without stolen spells from Garter to get those kills, and this is going to make life a lot more difficult for your Medusa. Maybe now. Up against double MKB. He is near the Mjolnir. I just feel like this Medusa could be 6-slotted, and I don't think it matters unless HGT, just, as mentioned earlier, just decide to group up and take that fight. But hey, that's a fat Medusa. No denying that. One of the hardest late game carries. This is game 2, of course. CDEC, they took game 1. It was a much easier, one-sided affair for them. And they improved their record to a whopping 16-5. I don't know if they're guaranteed top 4, but I'm pretty sure they're guaranteed top 6 off of that. They're definitely close to it. One or two more wins, and they just might be there. Uh-oh, maybe. Oh no, this is bad. Does he get off the Stone Gaze? No, not going to. BKB coming out. He's starting to get bashed. Now the Chrono deployed. Where's the Stone Gaze, man? Oh no, he ends up going down here. They even blow a global, but it does absolutely nothing. Maybe he got bashed when he was trying to cast it, but it looked like he had a second or two there where he could have used it, and generally that's what Medusas do, but I don't know. Maybe he dies there anyway. Chrono, then you Mystic Flare, then you Hex him. It may not have mattered, but certainly now he's in trouble. Has a buyback, almost forced to use it as they storm down mid. HGT, just the inevitable death ball beginning to heat up. No Chrono, but they have their Hex on the Queen of Pain. The Slark now can build towards his final item once the Aegis dies. And that's pretty much a 6-slotted Slark as well. Can replace the Shadowblade, though. Not really the best late game item, generally speaking. Situationally can be good, but the way this game is going, HGT will have to brute force into the CDEC base, and for that particular play, you'd rather have something else than a Shadowblade. So maybe we see the Butterfly Abyssal Blade here and get rid of the Shadowblade Aegis. It's a fun position for CSMJ. He's enjoying himself, folks. Worst part is they blew global. On top of the Medusa dying, now they have no real answer to like the Witch Doctor Death Ward. Now he's got a BKB in his army. God, that's a big Witch Doctor. 11k net worth. Oh my goodness. Brewmaster jumps in. They go for the spell steal here. Garter managed to snag a Time Walk, but we're looking at it go. Yes, we are. It's going poorly for CDEC. They can't even really harass Kaka. You know, there was a time where you used to be able to just toggle spells like Voodoo Restoration and it would instantly remove Curse of the Silent. Man, that spell used to be so bad. But it's been improved quite a bit now and can be situationally very strong, especially if you get that Ags Refresher. Irritating. Very irritating. HGT moving on in. There is still no global, but it's about to come off cooldown. 2 seconds to go, so they'll have the global.
Radiant's
HGT.
top tower is
I
under
honestly
attack.
think they can just go for it anyway, but they look to play it safe here. ZSMJ going to get scouted out. They'd ideally like to find a pick first. Aegis will now even be reclaimed, and he'll probably want to ensure he's got buyback. Maybe he buys the Eagle Horn and just waits for the rest. Eagle Song, sorry. I think my brain is permanently stuck in Dota 1 in some ways. I do apologize, though.
Radiant's
For all you
top
Dota
tower
2
is
lovers
under
out there.
attack.
Yes, and there gets caught though. They get off the instant time walk, but Chrono was ready by IC. Global was used just a split second late. It's a beautiful setup for the Witch Doctor ult, for the Queen of Pain ult, for the Pain Train. They try to kill up this Brewmaster. He gets off a split, but to what avail? Now he's forced to run the hell away. They are just unable to fight. Medusa dies, ends up buying back. Oh my. That Witch Doctor ult just destroyed her. You know you're in trouble when you've got a Medusa. Well, actually, not even the most far now. That's going to be ZSMJ with Abyssal Blade Gold. Almost buyback on top of it. And it's starvation time. If anybody has some, food, some supplies, maybe as a friend at the Red Cross, this would be a good time to send them to support your CDEC friends in need. Because let me tell you, they are starving. They are desperate for gold. The top 4 occupied by 3 HGT. The top 5 occupied by 4 of their 5 heroes. And
Look at it go.
the Skywrath Mage of Pretty Hall has more net worth than the enemy supports combined. And he's the least farmed hero on HGT. This is very bad. Very, very bad. Now completed Abyssal Blade on ZSMJ. And the funny part is, I don't actually think he's done anything in most of these fights. He sits 2-0 and 3. What happens is the Void goes in Chronos, Queen of Pain ults, and Witch Doctor ults, and then everyone on CDEC who's caught in that Chrono is either dead or running. And then Slark wants to fight, but they all just limp back to the base before he can even get in range. ZSMJ, the most bored 6-slotted Slark you'll ever see. He's still got a little more room here. Can get that next item coming out. Butterfly would be great. Boots of Travel would probably complete your ultimate kit. And then I guess can get the pocket 7th item refresher just to give you the second Abyssal Blade, the second BKB if you ever have to buy back in an urgent situation, but that is beyond redundancy. So many failsafes. Queen of Pain AC from Air. That's really good synergy with HGT's lineup. They've got the Witch Doctor ulti, so minus armor great for that double right-click cores and the Slark as well as the Void. And speaking of that Void, he's looking for a move in. 5-man down the mid lane. Behind maybe they go. Kaka, though, able to run the hell away. The chase comes through. There's your Chrono initiation. Icy's there. He only catches out maybe, but perhaps that's the only hero he needs to catch with the Witch Doctor ult going. Now the stolen Chrono, well placed. Actually surviving for now is maybe Icy in trouble, but Kaka continues with his ultimate. They'll bring down the Medusa. And we'll check the console in the midst of this because why not? Medusa no buyback. That's pretty much it. GG called. In the end, CDEC can't go 2 for 0. These teams, 2 of the most evenly matched. They've played each other a lot in Chinese tournaments as of late, especially a lot of the smaller events. And it's a 1-1 game so far. So, when it's all said and done, 9-3 will be HGT's score. CDEC advanced to 16-6. They've only got 8 more games to play. Folks, thank you very much for joining me. Of course, I'm LD of Beyond the Summit. If you haven't heard of me, I cast Dota. I talk about video games for a living. You can follow me on Twitter, @LDDota. And with that said, we will be coming back for the final broadcast on this channel. That will be Invasion versus eHome, scheduled to kick off in... Let's see, it looks like 37 minutes. So in the meantime, you may want to check out twitch.tv/BeyondTheSummit 2, as well as twitch.tv/BeyondTheSummit 3. eHome currently playing up against Magneto Gaming on BTS2 with Zyclops casting, and BG, the Big Gods, against Tongfu, a very hot Tongfu. They were 9-1 coming into that series with EGAD over at BTS3. So thanks for sticking around, guys. If you'd like, you can chill with me in the chat. Otherwise, I will see you in 37 minutes for one more Best of 2.